There's no...
Welcome to the Friday Matinee on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm George.
I'm Tori. I'm Tori in for T.
You're back to being Tori in for T.
I'm Tori in for T today.
So, Tori, what are your thoughts on like mystery novels or mystery stuff?
I love mystery novels, but I'm going to tell you a secret.
Okay.
I peek at the end.
Do you?
I'm sorry.
I do. You're a
I can't wait. Yeah.
I have to try and wait. It's a tough thing.
No.
It's a tough thing. So, do you have any favorites, or is it just all good, or?
Yeah, I mean, your basic. I love your murder mysteries.
Your whodunit
Yes,
kind of thing.
yes.
Going back to like Sherlock Holmes and working your way through like the Raymond Chandler stuff and all the way through. We have a modern day mystery novelist, and he's in the studio with us. So welcome, Seamus Award-winning novelist, Paul D. Marks. Welcome to the Hometown Morning Show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So let's get right to this. First of all, you have a new book, and you're going to be at a book signing tomorrow, right?
Yes, at the Open Book in Valencia Town Center.
That's right there. Yeah, right there at the intersection there. I know right where that's at. I have actually bought a couple books there. It's a great place. There are so few brick and mortar bookstores anymore, except for the main conglomerate that we have here in town. So it's good that it's an independent bookstore as well. And that's a great place to have a book sign. I've known some other people who've gone there.
That's a great place to find books that you wouldn't normally find at a regular place. They have some gems in there.
That's true. And that's what I mean. It's not like the conglomerate. I really think it's great. So let's talk about this. Your book is called Vortex. Give me a quick rundown on the setup. What's the plot?
Well, it's about an Afghan vet who was wounded over there, but before he was wounded, him and his buddies decided to steal some money from money that the government was giving to Afghan warlords. And he comes back to the States, and he has an epiphany while he's in the hospital recuperating, and decides he doesn't want to be a bad guy, but his friends think he has the money, and they go after him. So he wants to get out, and they don't want to let him out.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
There it is. And it's available now right on Amazon.com.
Yeah,
ready to
Amazon
go.
or Barnes & Noble, any of the major.
Now, if we can, I do have a question, because I'm not an author, so I don't know about the Seamus Award. Could you just tell me in terms of, I just read them. I don't know the awards, how that graduates. So can you tell me a little bit about what the Seamus Award means to a writer?
Sure. The Seamus Award is given out by the Private Eye Writers of America, and it is, akin to the Academy Awards for novels or short stories that feature private detectives. So they want to recognize that genre, and every year they have a banquet where they give out the Seamus Awards for best paperback novel, best hardback novel, best short story, that kind of thing. And
you won this for your thriller White Heat?
Yeah, that was my first book.
That was your first book, and such an honor. That's an amazing thing, so congratulations on that.
Well, I want to talk a little bit, too, about some other, of course, the Seamus Award, nominated, shortlisted for the 2015 Anthony Award, nominated and shortlisted for the 2015 McAvity Award. Did I say it right? McAvity, sorry. Number 7 in the 2014 Ellery Queen Readers Award poll. Ellery Queen, of course, goes way back as far as like the classic detective style. And Southwest Writers Association, Laurie and Hemingway International Short Story Competition. You get so many. So you're
all over.
You're in it.
I've done well, and I'm happy about it.
You're humble, and humble too. We like that. We like that.
And you have a list of books here as well on your website. I would suggest, obviously, while you're ordering Vortex, pick up a few more. Let's go back to the beginning. Now, have you always been a writer, or is it something you just kind of got interested in later on in life? How did this get started?
No, I've pretty much been interested since at least college days, maybe even before that. Before doing the novels, I did script doctoring in Hollywood, and you don't get a lot of glory there. No screen credit.
What exactly is script doctoring in Hollywood?
Well, if you go to see a movie. There's usually 1, 2, maybe 3 credits that you'll see. But behind those 3 credits, there could be any number of other people who have had their hands in the script, polishing it one way or another. Some people specialize in dialogue or adding humor or something. I'm kind of a generalist, but you often don't get screen credit. So
unsung hero.
One of the reasons I wanted to get into writing novels and short stories was, I guess, to satisfy my ego a little bit and see my name on something.
So at least you already had the idea of the attention grabber, because that's the biggest thing sometimes with writers starting out. They've got the ideas, they start putting it on paper, but they don't quite know how to shape it so that it compels the reader to keep going. So you already had that with your Hollywood experience. What prompted you to begin to write mystery novels?
Well, I like mystery. I like the idea of solving whodunit, but even more than the mystery aspect of it, I like the character aspect. And I guess I have a semi-dark view of society and humanity, so that tends to make me want to gravitate towards mystery novels or noir fiction. And it's just a genre that I like. I like thrillers. I like mystery. I like that kind of thing, you know. So.
Do you, when you're writing these, do you ever imagine if they became a movie, who would star in your? Do you ever like take it a step further and maybe think, wait, maybe someday these? Because it's known to happen quite often. Hollywood takes a book, a novel, a whodunit, makes it into a Lifetime movie or a feature film. You ever thought of, Will Smith would be perfect for this? Or did you ever cast your own book?
I'm always casting things, but sometimes I cast things for people who aren't even alive anymore, like Humphrey Bogart. I tend to like him. A while ago, I used to like to think of things in terms of Jack Nicholson. Today, obviously, people like Channing Tatum or somebody that's younger, more hip.
So in the latest Vortex, that's your new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who would you have star in Vortex?
I think Channing Tatum would.
Yeah, okay, I'm on board with that, George.
Our guest today on the Friday Matinee is Paul D. Marks, a mystery and film or noir writer with books that you can find, novels at pauldmarks.com. That's D as in David. And fascinating stuff. And talking about Channing Tatum, I mean, he's really bursting on the scene. And do you think that he's kind of maybe in line of, I didn't know about Bogart because he was so in his own field, but do you think that he's like kind of the next guy that might, because it's tough for me to like even follow along with stars these days. There's nobody that really stands out. Do you think he's a standout?
I think he can be, yeah. I think he's on his way up, and I think he's going to be big. I think he already is big. He's going to be bigger.
See, now when I read the book, I'm going to picture Channing, and I'm going to call you back and say if I agree or not.
Okay.
Let's talk about Bogart and some of those, like The Big Sleep, and one of my favorite movies. I know The Maltese Falcon as well, but The Big Sleep was grittier to me. Do you agree with that? Have you seen both those?
Oh, I love them. I love film noir, and I love old Bogart. I love old movies, period. Right. There's another Bogart movie that is pretty gritty called In a Lonely Place. I don't know if you've seen that.
It's been some years, but yes.
That is a really good movie. It's kind of one of his... It's known within, circles of people that like film noir and Bogart movies, but I don't think it's well known outside of that. But it's a pretty dark story.
Well, I'm curious, though, because on this is starting to put the story elements together because, you've got so many different types. The crime in your storytelling, you talked about characters, we talked about some things, but what about the diabolical plot or interesting like type of crime or crime-solving technique? Do you really delve into... I mean, it's one thing, okay, the whodunit and some... I've read some bad novels where it's like really a plot device, how they kind of stumbled into it, but it seems like to me that you really work on the technique and the actual process of actually solving the crime.
Well, Alfred Hitchcock talked about something called the MacGuffin, which is basically whatever little device the writer and in his case, director would use to get the plot moving, so it could be a murder, whodunit, that kind of thing. And I think that's good. It's good to have an interesting premise, but I think it's more interesting to have good characters. I really like to have characters that are full-bodied, and I think in some mysteries, characters are kind of one-dimensional, so I hope that when I do it, that my characters are multi-dimensional and have different layers of background and story and backstory and that kind of thing, and that they're not just there to move the plot forward. The plot and the characters should be intertwined and work together to make everything happen.
But it does make, if you have different layers, it does make it easier to make twists and turns.
Oh yeah,
toward the end.
I think the more layers you have, because then you can add more plot devices in that can play off of all of that. But I think you have to start with a good character. You have to have somebody who's full human being, and not some characters are just they're like cardboard symbols, or they're just there, like I say, to move the plot forward. But you want a character that really lives. When I do my early drafts of stuff, I do what I call, I let the characters talk and walk. And I write a lot of early drafts in screenplay format because that's what I come from. And I let them talk and walk. I don't care how long it is or what tangents they go off of. I get to know them that way. I don't like outlining. I spent enough time having to do that before. And I like to just let them take over, so it's almost like a stream of consciousness. And then I go back, and each draft I polish it and hone it a little bit more till I get what I want out of it.
At what point do you make it into a book? If you screenwrite it first, at what point do you know, now it's a book?
In the second draft, I'll usually start doing more of a prose format. But the first draft, I'll do like a screenplay, exterior, beach day, Joe's walking along the beach and, Godzilla comes out of the water or something. Because all I care about then is getting the characters and getting, the basic plot down. And then, I start adding, the layers of more detail and that kind of thing.
So it's kind of like almost like some people take notes or do some sort of rough draft. Some people I know even sometimes draw things out. You have it in screenplay format, so it kind of just you can at least set it in your mind. So it sounds to me like you're putting the movie in your mind and then being able to actually move it through.
That's pretty much what I do. We have what we call pantsers and outliners. Outliners obviously sit there and outline everything ahead of time, and they're very meticulous. I can't think in that format. So in essence, my first draft is an outline, and but it's a very undisciplined outline. It can go in any direction, and that's what works for me. But everybody, they call that being a pantster, where you just write by the seat of your pants and you're not.
Oh, that's. I didn't realize
that?
That's where it emanated from.
Yeah.
That's funny. What do you write all the time? Do you find yourself? I mean, you wake up, you start writing. Do you write at night, 24/7, or do you go in spurts?
I am a night person, so normally I'd be sleeping at this time.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
So yeah, I like to write at night after my wife goes to bed usually, and then I'll write all night long. I don't sleep any more than anybody else sleeps. I just do it at a different time, and it just seems to work for me. I've always gravitated to, late night thing. I usually get up in the afternoon. I take my dogs for a walk and, get some business kind of stuff out of the way. And then my wife will come home and she'll, we'll have dinner and we'll talk or do whatever we do. And then after she goes to bed is when I like to write. It's quiet and peaceful.
Almost like living the detective lifestyle right there.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. How long does it take you usually from beginning to end to write, or do they vary?
Yeah, they vary. Some things come really quick, and other things, you labor on forever. I did a short story that was published on a website called Beat to a Pulp a while ago, and that story, the name of the story is Nature of the Beast, and that story came real quick. I mean, it was probably, I don't know, it just flowed, and then other things, a short story I'm talking about, a short story could take months, you just work on it and you want to hone it, and it just doesn't seem to come together, and then one day it all just clicks. I'll look at some of my early drafts of things and I'll go, this is never going to work. And then one day it's just there.
There it is.
It just comes together.
Do you do anything? What when you're not writing? It sounds like the bulk of your day is pretty much spoken for. But when you're not writing, what other interests do you have?
Well, I collect toys.
Wait a minute, what kind of toys do you collect?
I collect the little army men and that type of stuff that I used to play with as a kid. So all the accessories that go with that.
I want to go to your house.
Come on by. Tanks and, also, cowboy, soldiers and the buildings and stuff that go with them. I collect some Beatles stuff, so I know you might be interested in that, George. Some other music stuff. I like photography. I take pictures, that kind of stuff. I used to scuba dive. I haven't done that in a while, but I keep telling myself I'm going to do it again.
Well, now maybe that you said it out loud. Maybe
That's right.
Maybe you'll bring it back.
So I want to talk really quickly about publishing now. Do you go through an agent or a publishing company, or are you self-published?
Well, different things are done differently. Some of the books are done through publishers and stuff. At the moment, I don't have an agent. I did have an agent for the sequel to White Heat, and it just didn't work out with her. So I'm, trying to market that again. And I'm working on another novel that's, what we call a standalone, that's not related to any previous characters. So it just depends on the project. I'm doing a series of books for a publisher called Down and Out, and I'm co-editing these books. The first one is Coast to Coast: Murder from Sea to Shining Sea. So it's I think about 13 short stories from pretty well-known writers the stories are set in different cities across the country, and then the one that we're editing now is Coast to Coast: Private Eyes from Sea to Shining Sea. So it's all private eye stories set coast to coast. And in fact, one of the stories in the first volume, the Murder from Sea to Shining Sea, just about a week ago got nominated for a Seamus Award too.
Well, congratulations.
So we were happy about that because it kind of puts this new series on the map,
Well, that's terrific. And also to remind where you can go to get all of Paul Marks' mystery novels, I keep saying film noir type novels, go to pauldmarks.com.
It's Marks with a K.
Marks with a K.
KS.
And there's also, you have all this
There's
social
Facebook.
media.
He's on Facebook. You're on Twitter. You're all over social media. And, of course, Amazon. Are all your books on Amazon currently?
Yes.
So you have your Seamus Award-winning White Heat, and then tomorrow is the big book signing, and that's for Vortex. Am I correct?
We'll be having all of our books, and I'll be there with Pam Rippling, and she'll have her books there too.
Oh, okay. So it's a party. Tomorrow, the book signing at Open Book. What time does that start?
2:00.
Starts at 2:00. It's over at the mall. It's an awesome bookstore. I really love it. I call it old school book. I'm still, and we've talked about this before, I haven't graduated to the Kindle or reading books online. I like pages, and that's a great place to buy some gems.
Outstanding. Open book tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Yes.
That is on Town Center Drive at the Westville Valencia Town Center, right at the intersection there. Really easy to find. So, Paul Marks, thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate it. Good luck with the continued writing and your book signing tomorrow. Again, pauldmarks.com, especially if you are a murder mystery fan, a noir fan, or you want to get into murder mystery or noir and try to see what it's like. It's a good opportunity. They're going to be a great read. Paul, again, thank you so much for stopping by.
Well,
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We'll be right back. This is the Friday Matinee on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Friday Matinee on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm George.
I'm Tori in for tea.
Tori in for tea.
Yes, it's been a while since I said that.
Hashtag Tori in for tea.
It's her birthday.
That's it.
And
I know.
we wanted her to celebrate